All right. It looks like we're live, Karen. Welcome, everybody, to the webinar. Excited to be here with Karen from Shopgenie. We've got a lot of good content for you guys today. We're going to be talking about how to be ridiculously easy to do business with in 2024. And really excited. I just spent some time talking with Karen, getting to know him better and hearing his backstory about how he, knows a lot about the automotive industry. And it's funny because I've talked to so many people and I've heard these different people tell me that, they decided to get into automotive because it looked like a good thing to do. And Karen actually understands the automotive business. So I think that's really cool. He's from our world. So thank you for being here, Karen.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Darren. This is awesome. We're super happy to be partnered up with Elite. And yeah, I think a lot of people try to get into this industry, especially on the software side, without like an intimate understanding of the
Right.
industry and some of the problems that we face as an industry. And I think it's an advantage to kind of know how things work and some of the intricacies of this industry, because it is a very complex industry, right? At the end of the day,
It
vehicles,
is.
automobiles are the most complex consumer product in the world. And, we're, you guys, mainly shop owners, are all tasked with fixing them every day. Um,
Right.
and so it's complex. It's hard by nature. Fundamentally, auto repair is very difficult. And so as a vendor that serves the auto repair industry, it's important that we understand all of those little nuances because there are so many of them. So.
There is, it's funny. A friend of mine is actually a doctor, and we were joking. We were at lunch the other day, and he was telling me, he goes, it's funny that we get paid so much as a doctor. He's like, but you guys have to know much more than we ever do because the body stays the same. I mean, yes, it is always
Yeah.
changing, but it's not like cars, where
Right.
they're always evolving, and you got different models and makes and all the different ways of anyway working on them. It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
But
Well, yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited to go through this. I mean, this is a presentation I put together that I think it really resonates with people because at the end of the day, we're just talking about how complex this industry is.
right.
And so I think, one of the most important things as business owners is being easy to do business with in an industry that can be very complex, that can be very intimidating to consumers, right? When they think about when
Yes.
that check engine light pops on their dashboard, they're scared, they're worried about a big bill, they don't know where to take their car. And so that's why I think being ridiculously easy to do business with is so important in 2024.
But you have to be. I mean, once again, people want to be convenient. Those days of open up the yellow pages. You probably don't even know what that is, Karen, but you used to open up these yellow pages, and that you would just take a guess at who you're going to reach out to. And now it's like, oh my goodness, it's a whole
Yeah.
different world. I mean, it's
No,
crazy.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'll just give a quick intro.
Yep.
So for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Kieran. I'm one of the co-founders of Shopgenie. We are a customer experience platform purpose built for auto repair shops. I was just telling Darren before we started the live stream here that I worked in shops as a kid in high school in the summers, and I kind of saw firsthand how difficult it was to do business with a shop. The back and forth phone calls, they're closed on the weekends. You're submitting a form on their website, and they don't get back to you until 4 business days later, and the whole nine yards. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm in the industry, that I started Shopgenie. I liked working on computers a lot more than I liked working on cars, I always like to say. So I found a way to be in the industry without being on the shop side of things. But yeah, I truly believe that the auto repair industry gave me everything that I have today, and I really just love serving this industry. So
That's
that's
great.
a little bit about me.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad you're here. Like I told you a minute ago, I mean, it's awesome that you actually have a background in it and you understand it. Rather than trying to pick something and just going into it and hoping you make it work. It's like you actually understand the struggles and the trials. And tell me your backstory about this guy that you worked with that was hugely successful and taught you the ropes. I mean, that's good stuff. So awesome stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'm Darren Barney. To those of you who don't know me, I'm the CEO of Elite Worldwide. I also own Barney Brothers Off Road, which is an off road shop in Grand Junction, Colorado. Yeah, I love being able to help give back now to the industry. I don't go to the shop as much, but I still am there a little bit, but mostly do Elite and help shop owners grow their businesses. So really, I'm excited to hear more, Kieran. Let's get this going.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think I already talked on what Shopgenie is, but yeah, Darren, I'd love to learn a little bit more about Elite.
Of course, man. Yeah, we do coaching, consulting, sales, service advisor training. We have a great peer group. Basically, just help shop owners grow and improve their businesses.
Awesome.
So yeah, good
Cool,
stuff.
cool. So yeah, again, guys, if you're just getting in here, you didn't see the first slide. This training today is about how to be easy to do business with, right? And that's a broad term. We're going to talk about a little bit what that exactly means here. But times are changing, right? I always like to remind people, for the shop owners in the audience, when I do this presentation live, I'll have people raise their hands. But just want you guys to think to yourselves, for everybody watching, how long have you been using a cloud-based shop management system? Right? 5
Yeah.
years or less. How long have you been using one, Darren?
You don't want to know, man. Everything was actually on the server. We actually had a server room. In fact, I still
Yep,
have it, but we just changed about 3 years ago to a cloud-based system. So that tells you,
exactly.
you know,
How long have you been doing DVIs at
oh
Warner
goodness,
Brothers?
those are probably close to 10 years, if not longer.
Right.
So,
But the shop's been
yeah.
open longer than that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. 22 years. So
Yeah. So that's 12 years with no DVIs.
I
That's
know.
20 something years with no cloud-based system, right? So it's undeniable, right? Like you see this
Yeah.
everywhere. Times are changing, technology is changing, and the most important thing is consumer expectations are changing, right? And so
Yes.
technology is more powerful than it's ever been before. This is a concept called innovation cycles. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. And I was born in the 90s, so I wasn't alive for a couple of these ones, but I do wanna just reference these because I think they're interesting. The way that innovation cycles work is a new technology is introduced, and you have what's called the early adopter phenomenon, right? So cloud-based systems, right? Darren, you didn't start using one until 3 years ago. Cloud-based
Yeah.
software has been around since the early 2000s, right?
Right.
But our
Yeah.
industry didn't adopt it until probably the last 5 years,
I
right?
know.
And
We're way
so
behind.
exactly. So the concept of innovation cycles is essentially that when a new technology comes out, there are these early adopters, and then it just falls off a cliff. Because what happens is the early adopters, they love it, but then they realize that no one else is using it. The technology stops advancing because there isn't as many users or adopters or money pouring into whatever it is, right? And then
Right.
eventually it becomes mainstream, right? And so this is exactly what happened with music cassettes, right? You got the early adopters, boom, through the 70s, and then this is called, I like to call it the pit of despair. When the
Right.
early adopters realize, oh shoot, this thing's not going mainstream, it's
Yeah.
not being widely adopted, right? And then eventually it's like something else comes along. And so you've got CDs, and then the pit of despair in the 90s, right? And then you've got streaming services like Apple Music and Spotify, et cetera. You've got the early adopters, and then now we're somewhere up here, right? And so innovation cycles happen in every single industry. And I think this is exactly what's happening on our side of the table with cloud-based shop management systems and DVIs and online
Yeah.
scheduling and all of these trends that we're seeing. But this also happens on the consumer side, and it influences their buying decisions, and it influences the way that they do business with every business that they work with, not just their auto repair shop, but their
Sure.
dentist, their chiropractor, their local restaurants, et cetera.
So
So
I got to tell you something really quickly on that.
yeah,
I'm one of
sure.
those poor guys. I love music. Music's a big thing for me, and I
Yeah.
bought them on cassette. I bought them on CD, and now I'm buying them in digital. The same freaking album. It's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
exactly.
It really is.
And there's those statistics about these artists used to make so much more money back in the 80s and 90s because you actually had to buy a CD for $20 versus
Yes.
now you're just getting a fraction of a penny for every stream. And artists are making way less money. So it's
Yeah.
it's
It's
interesting how that
unreal.
works.
Yeah. It is.
So you might have heard me mention in the beginning of this that Shopgenie is a customer experience platform, right?
Yep.
And that might
Yep.
sound like a buzzword, but it is
Okay.
truly what we aim to be, right? So customer experience versus customer service. Okay. So Shopgenie, a lot of people think that we're a CRM. They think that we're like an online scheduling platform. We are kind of all of those things. But what
Okay.
all of those things really roll up to, Darren, is customer experience. How does a customer feel when they're doing business with you? Right. And that's the most important piece. And so customer service is down here. A lot of people think that customer experience is greeting people with a smile, remembering their name, doing a concierge drop off of their vehicle when it's done being serviced, or telling the customer the vehicle is going to be done Friday, and you call them on Thursday and give them
Sure.
a nice surprise that it's done a little early. Like people think that's what customer experience is. That's customer service, right? That's
Okay.
down here in this little black circle. That is absolutely a part of the customer experience, but it is not the whole customer experience. So customer service is what happens at a specific time, place, and on a specific channel, over the phone, in person, over text, whatever.
Sure.
And it's the help you get with a specific problem, right? But customer experience is the sum of all interactions in all different places at all times on all different channels. And so everything that rolls up into the customer experience is their first visit, their second visit, everything that happened between the first and second visit, how you talk to them, how you make them feel, how you follow up with them, how you remind them about their service. When they come back to do business with you, do you answer the phone? Do you have a way to easily make an appointment online, et cetera? All of these things are little data points that your customers are tallying up in their head. And that is what ultimately makes up the customer experience, right? And then
That's
customer
awesome.
service is when they're actually physically there at the shop, right?
What's important, because that's what gets them to go out and broadcast to everybody else how awesome you are, or continue to come back. So that's great.
100%, 100%.
Okay.
So what are the elements of a digital customer experience, a modern digital customer experience? I like to say there's 3 different areas where this happens: before the repair, during the repair, and after the repair, right? So before the repair, you've got things like having a clear and concise website, having an easy way to get an appointment scheduled into your shop, reminding people of their appointment via phone calls or emails or text or whatever it is. And then during the customer's visit, right? When their car is actually at the shop, right? Do you have loaner vehicles for them? Are you updating them on their status, right? Are you sending them a DVI so they know what's wrong with their vehicle and they're not wondering why the bill's so high? Are you allowing them to text to pay so that they can just, tap Apple Pay at home and then come in and pick up their vehicle, not having to do a bunch of paperwork, right? Those are the types of things, again, when I said the customer's tallying those experiences up in their mind, these are the types of things that they're checking for. Because at the end of the day, the nail salon down the street, the chiropractor down the street, maybe even a competitor of yours, another auto repair shop down the street is doing these things. And if you're not, that's a tally point in that customer's head that they're checking off. Oh, this shop doesn't have this one thing that the guy down the street does. I really like that. I'm going to go do business there. Right.
Okay.
And then the third piece is after the repair, right? This is arguably the most important because customer retention is the most important thing you can do as a repair shop, right? Getting a new customer is far more expensive than keeping current ones coming back and keeping them happy, right? So customer follow-up, reminding them of their services proactively, asking them to leave a review, asking them how their service was. All of these things are very important to be doing after the service. So Darren, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that part.
No, I agree with you 100%. All this stuff is very important. Once again, it's that experience that we're trying to create. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely. So you have 2 options: adapt or be left behind. I like to be a little bit dramatic. It's not actually that dramatic, but that's what we're going to talk about today. Does anybody know who this is? Maybe drop it in the chat. If you guys don't, this guy on the right here is a man named Henry Ford. He is the reason we're all here today, ironically, in kind of a roundabout way. He invented the automobile, right? And one of his famous quotes that I really, really love is, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." And I like to use this internally at Shopgenie because we like to be innovative. We like to launch pieces of software that have never been seen before in the auto repair industry. But I think this goes a step further. And I think as auto repair shop owners and operators, you can adapt this same philosophy and use it inside of your shop. So a lot of people are just keeping up with the Joneses. They're doing whatever the guy down the street is doing. And again, if you ask your customers what they want, they're going to say faster horses. How can you see around corners and stand out as a shop in your town and do things that nobody else does, and adopt technology that nobody else has, et cetera, and so forth? And so you can build cars and not faster horses, right?
Right.
I think that's one of the quotes that's one of the reasons that quote stands out to me.
That's great. Henry Ford's awesome.
Absolutely. So what we're going to cover today quickly on a tactical note is how to be easy to do business with, how to do online scheduling right for your shop, and how to do customer follow-ups after the repair. So again, consumer expectations are higher than ever. They're judging you. You've got review sites. You've got all these different websites where customers are talking openly about their experience doing business with you. And so you kind of just have to meet your customers where they're at, right? Consumers as a whole have never had more power than we do now, right? And
it's crazy.
Exactly. On this webinar today, we are the business side of things. But in every other aspect of our life, when we're at the grocery store, when we're at the dentist office, when we're at a restaurant, we're the consumer. So we know both sides of the coin, right? And so we know that when somebody gives us bad service at a restaurant, we're going to Yelp, we're going to Google, we're gonna make sure the world knows about that. And as business owners, we know that that happens to us as well, right? And it's never been more amplified than it is today.
Right.
So
We got to take care of them. If not, they tell everybody,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And this is one of the most shocking things, Darren. We ran a survey last year. And what we did is we secret shopped over 500 auto repair shops. And we used fake names and fake email addresses and local area code phone numbers. And
Right.
all we did to get a nice scientific study is we went onto their website and we called them. We texted their phone number if they had a text number, and we submitted a form on their website to try to book an appointment. Right at 500 shops in 12 different cities all over North America, a couple in Canada, all over the US, big, medium, small cities. And what we found was 76% of the shops in that survey just didn't respond to their customers at all.
Holy cow.
Never. The 24% that did respond back to us, they took over 3 business days to respond. Right. Okay. And so again, that's not very easy to do business with. That's how the guy down the street ends up with your business. Right.
Right.
And so I want everyone listening to ask yourselves, where would you rank if one of my secret shoppers came and submitted a form on your website? Are you gonna be able to say yes to that customer and get them in?
That's crazy,
Exactly.
Especially when you're trying to pay to make that phone ring or make the customer come in the door and then you don't reply.
100%. A lot of people
my goodness.
Speaking of Google, like a lot of people are spending money on Google with paid ads or SEO or whatever it is, and they're paying for these customers, and then they might unintentionally blow them off, right? So this is a fact. Your customers are one Google search away from leaving you for a competitor. At the end of the day, a lot of people talk about branding. A lot of people talk about customer loyalty. There is less customer and brand loyalty than there ever has been in 2024, right? At the end of the day, auto repair is a commodity service, just like most small businesses, right? I, for one, I know I've been to 3 or 4 different dentists over the last 5 years, right?
Of course.
I'm just looking at whatever one's the easiest, whatever one has the soonest availability. I have good dental insurance, and so I don't really care as long as they have good reviews and they can get me in when it works with.
And they take good care of you.
Exactly. That's it. And so I always relate to dentists because I think it is actually so similar to the auto repair industry because of the visit frequency. It's, once or twice a year max. And I don't even remember the name of the last dentist office I went to. All I know is they were at the top of Google, they had availability, and they took my insurance coverage. That's all I needed to know. I don't care what they're called. They had good reviews, whatever. Right. So same thing for auto repair, right? Your customers are one Google search away, searching auto repair near me, from potentially picking the guy down the street. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are ways to avoid that. Okay. So consumers now have unlimited options. They can go wherever they want. So one of the big problems, one of the big reasons why people are bouncing around, and this is shocking, in 2024, still over 70% of small businesses don't have a call to action on their website. They don't tell people how to do business with them.
So what's a good example of a call to action? Anybody that doesn't know what that is?
Funny you should ask, Darren. A call to action is basically just telling your customers how to do business with you, right? Okay. If you want phone calls, ask for the phone call. If you want appointments, ask for the appointment. If you want them to email you, ask them to email you, right? Yeah. Obviously, some of those are easier than others for the consumer. So ideally, you would do whatever the easiest one is. But at the end of the day, this is really all it comes down to. On your website, these are call to actions, these big buttons: schedule an appointment, book an appointment, right? You've got a visible phone number. You've got a clear and concise address that's clickable that opens Google Maps on the customer's mobile device. You've got clear hours of operations, so people know when they can come in and when they can't. Yeah. These are very simple things, and over 70% of small businesses in the US in 2024 still don't have these basic things on their website and their web presence.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely. Most shops still, sorry about that. Let's talk scheduling. Scheduling is the first touch point of your business, right? Okay. And when, as the founder of a company that does online scheduling for auto repair shops, people often think that I'm talking about like a scheduling tool. I'm actually not. And I'll ask you, Darren, you own a shop. Yeah. What is the number one question that people ask when they call in?
Price.
Well, okay. The number two, price is probably the number one. You're right.
Right.
But what's the second most common question that you get?
Yeah. Yeah. When can they get in? When can they get it
When
fixed?
can I get
Of
it?
course.
Right.
Yep.
So when I say scheduling is the first touch point with your business, I'm not talking about having an online scheduling tool like Shopgenie or any of that. I'm just talking
Right.
about the intent of the customer. When they
Okay.
call, when they email, when they submit an old-fashioned lead form on your website, what they're
Yeah.
doing is they're trying to schedule. They're trying to put a time on their calendar that works for them to bring their vehicle by, right?
Okay.
Most shops have a form that looks something like this, right? I don't know
Yep.
about you, but if I was trying to make a dinner reservation and one restaurant had open table and the restaurant next door gave me something like this, you know
Yeah.
which one I'm picking, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so, oh, I mean, what do you think about this, Darren? Is this something that you're going to fill out?
No, it's pain in the rear.
Yeah, I don't know. When I get those super long forms at the doctor's office, I'm like, oh man, here we go. I have
Yeah.
to
Yep.
sit down, focus on it, right?
Of course.
So, Darren, I'll ask you. You're my audience of one here. Have you booked a dentist appointment online before?
Actually, I haven't, but
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Hey, they get easier. Don't worry.
Yeah. I know. Right.
Has your wife booked a nail appointment online before or a hair appointment?
Yeah, she has.
Okay. Have you ever booked a restaurant
Yes.
reservation online?
Yes. That one I have.
Everyone has, right?
Yeah.
So this is the point, right?
Yeah.
This is becoming more common. This is becoming table stakes for consumers in other industries. Okay.
Okay.
So when we talk about scheduling, again, because we do a lot of this for shops, oftentimes I hear the following objections when I tell customers how our system works.
Okay.
Oh, I can't take same day appointments, right? Or, oh, you know what? My customers prefer phone calls. My
Yeah.
customers are different than everyone else. They're special. They're unique. They don't like, they like phone calls. They don't like to schedule online, even though
Right.
you tried it. I only take waiters in the morning, or
Yeah.
I don't take waiters at all, right? That's another one I hear a lot.
Right.
Another one is I can't get all the information I need. When a customer calls in, I'm getting all the information. Do they need a loaner car? What else is wrong with the vehicle? Do they see
Sure.
smoke? Right? Do they do they have to have the car back at a certain time? That's all
Of course.
information that I get over the phone, and I hear a lot of shop owners telling me, "Well, you know what? I don't think I can get all that information through an online portal." Right?
Well, that, as you and I were talking, is that we don't use an online scheduler in my shop, and that's why I'm excited about this because I'm learning about this because we haven't used it in the past. So I'm
Exactly.
curious. Are we going to be able to answer that? Are we going to figure that out?
Yeah.
How we're going to get that information?
100%.
Cool.
Do any of these questions sound familiar to you, Darren?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. These are things that most shop owners think about, right?
Yep.
Modern technology has leveled the playing field. There are systems that can do all of that now, right?
Okay.
So including ours. Online scheduling increases revenue and ARO. We see this across the board, right? Because at the end of the day, being available 24/7 for customers to do business with you, being easy to do business with, just bottom line increases revenue and increases average repair order because more customers are coming in, they're spending more money. I'll talk about how it increases ARO here in a second. It also limits administrative work, right? Service advisors are there to provide a customer experience and to give great customer service. They
Yep.
can't give great customer service to the lady that's standing at the counter or sitting in your waiting room if they're just on the phone with customers trying to schedule appointments all day.
Right.
They're stuck on the phone. They're stuck behind a computer screen rather than doing the highest impact thing, which is talking to customers in person, right?
Sure.
So it frees them up to be able to do that. And it also allows you to accept new customers 24/7. So things that modern scheduling systems are able to do now are limiting the amount of waiters per day, even per hour, right? You can recognize returning customers. It's another one, right? Which is massive because now instead of just being another number in the system, we're saying, welcome back, Darren. Which vehicle would you like to bring in? We already know what vehicles you own, right? Limiting the number of total appointments per day is another one, right? And then you might be wondering, well, how does this all increase my average repair order? Well, because modern scheduling solutions like Shopgenie can actually upsell declined services in the scheduling process so that customers know, hey, I've got this service I need to get done. It was recommended 3 months ago. I didn't have time or I didn't have the money to get it done. I do now, and I want to get that taken care of so I don't end up on the side of the road. Right. And your service advisor should be doing that, but humans are imperfect, right? They might forget. They've got a lot going on. There's somebody else. They might forget to mention that declined service to a customer. Technology never forgets. We're
Sure.
going to do it every single time, 100% of the time. And it doesn't matter when it is. It could be 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night. If they're on your website booking an appointment, they're going to be reminded about that declined work. Right.
Okay. So if there is a revision built for it, then it'll remind them of that revision. Is that correct?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Do your service advisors upsell declined services at your shop, Darren?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
See, that's one of the most powerful things, and I'm sure that's a great way to boost average repair order. So
cool.
76% of consumers in 2024 expect to book an appointment online. Okay. Wow. Now, the reason I love this statistic is because of this word right here, expect, right? It's not would like to, would prefer to, they expect to. Yeah. It's just, it's a table stakes item now for them because they're making all their dinner reservations online. They're making all their dentist reservations or dentist appointments online. They want to be able to do this with auto repair shops as well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So there's a guy named Mike. He's out in Texas. He's one of our customers at Shopgenie. He implemented online scheduling and saw a 40% increase in online appointments overall. He says he's saving about 5 hours per day in staff time, scheduling appointments, entering in all the details, diagnosing the issue, et cetera. And he's also getting over 60 appointments per week online, of which $29,000 a week in revenue is coming from appointments that are scheduled online that he never had to talk to over the phone, that he never had to accept or deny. They're just there, they show up, and they spend $29,000 a week at his shop.
That's amazing.
Right. So it's massive. It's massively important. Yeah. So that's all I've got on scheduling. I mean, any questions, Darren? Anything we didn't cover? So
you got a customer, let's just say that I got 2015 Chevy, right? And I'm having a brake problem. And so I go, and it's a Sunday night. So I go online and I try to book an appointment. If I go in and I try to, and let's just say that I pick it for whatever day is open, and it's a half-hour slot that I can select there on a shop side of it. What happens if I've got, another job that's scheduled after that, and I've got a whole day full of job schedule? How does that work?
Totally. So there's a couple answers to that question. I mean, the first answer is modern scheduling solutions like Shopgenie are basically infinitely flexible. So a couple things that we could do there. Number one, you can adjust the hours for every job, right? So if you want brake jobs to take 2 or 3 hours, you can do that. The other thing is the schedule is actually real-time integrated with your shop management system. So we already know what's in the shop. We know what's in the shop already. We know, how many hours are already sold that day, et cetera. We're providing real-time availability based on those factors. And then the third thing is for a job like that, where a customer, there's something wrong with their brakes, they don't know exactly what's wrong with it, right? You know how long an oil change takes. You know how long a quick pad and rotors job takes. You know how long all that stuff takes. But if it's a diagnostic job, and the customer's not sure what's wrong, we actually automatically allow you to default those to drop off only. So the customer's not expecting to sit around in your waiting room and wait for
That's awesome. Okay. So if it's a no start and it won't start, and so they just need to go in, and when they select no start, then is that where it gives it that option, or how does that work?
Exactly. Yeah. Anything diagnostic related, we just default. We don't even provide the option for them to wait at the shop.
So if in my world, we do a lot of lift kits, we do a lot of that other stuff. I know a lot of other shops that maybe watching us do the same thing. So we could even turn it on where it's just drop off only if we really wanted to. I understand we'd be limiting that, but
drop off only, or just drop off only for lift kits. And then you can still do weight or oil changes if you want to, right? Infinitely flexible. That's the answer.
Cool.
Customer follow-up. Okay. So this is what happens. They've already scheduled online. They've come to the shop. They've had a great experience. They're going home. How do you get them back? That's the question. Post-service follow-up makes money in 2 ways, right? The first way is pretty obvious. Everyone knows this, right? Is directly, right? So the direct ROI of post-service follow-up, you can pre-book the next appointment. I remember I was at this dentist office. Again, I'm using the dentist analogy.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting there getting my teeth cleaned. I've got the metal picks and prongs in my mouth, and I can, the dentist talks to you when you're at the dentist office, and they ask you questions, and you're like, you can't answer. It's not even English. But I'm sitting there with these picks in my mouth, and the dentist goes, "Hey, so does November 7th work for your next appointment?" And it's like August. I'm like, sure, I think
Yeah.
so.
No idea what I'm doing then. Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I'm like, well, I guess if I'm planning that far in advance, then, I guess I'll plan everything else around this,
Yeah.
right. And it's like, yeah, well, your teeth need to be cleaned every 6 months, right?
Right.
Your car needs an oil change every 6 months.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, Mr. Customer, is I'm just going to put you down on the books right now. Right. And so post-service follow-up, pre-booking your next appointment. Customer comes in for an oil change. You send them a quick message. How was your service? Hey, great. I saw you got an oil change. Would you mind booking your next one here? Right. So those are things that you can do to increase return rate. You
Right.
can also upsell declined work. So again, using something like Shopgenie's booking tool to do it, or even just sending reminders via text or email or direct mail saying, hey, you've got declined services that are due, right?
Yeah.
Those are the direct ways. Now,
Okay.
indirectly is far more interesting to me. I think a lot of this stuff does not get talked about enough in our industry. Indirectly, the way that post-service follow-up makes money is,
Right.
number one, a customer is 6 times more likely to recommend you to a friend. Okay. So what that means is if you as a shop owner go out of your way to follow up with a customer when they leave your shop and ask how they're doing, ask if their vehicle is still running right, et cetera,
Yeah.
number one, you're going to stand out because none of your competitors are doing that. Most shops do not do that.
Yeah, of
Right.
course. Yep.
Number two, you're going to stay top of mind, right? You're in
Right.
their email inbox, you're on their phone, you're taking up valuable real estate on the home screen right here, right?
Yeah.
And so now when the customer's out at dinner that night, they're talking about the great service that they just had. They're now 6 times more likely to recommend you to a friend when that friend says, oh, I need to go get an oil change tomorrow. I'm taking it to Jiffy Lube. And
Yeah.
your customer goes, hang on. Don't go to Jiffy Lube. Go here because I had a great experience, right?
Right.
And now also that same customer is now 3 times more likely to choose you again over a competitor for something as simple as following up with them after the service and asking how their service was.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to stand out.
Yeah.
I tell this story every now and then, Darren, and maybe you have a similar one, but
Right.
I went to a really nice steakhouse with a friend for his birthday
Okay.
a few months ago. And the next morning, it was like a Saturday morning. I'm sitting at home on my couch and I get a phone call at about 10 a.m. Right. And this steakhouse, keep in mind, is open from 4 p.m. to like 10 p.m. They're not even
Yeah.
open at 10 a.m. But I get a phone call at 10 a.m. I answer the phone, and it was Morton's Steakhouse, and they call me up, and it was something along the lines of, "Hey, this is so and so. I'm the general manager at Morton's Steakhouse. Just wanted to thank you for coming in last night, and keep us in mind if you ever if you ever want to visit us again. We'd love to have you."
Yeah.
And I'm blown away. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock and they're not even
Right.
open. I'm assuming the general manager is just there all morning doing these follow-up calls.
Yeah.
Right. And I spent like $150. We didn't even order wine.
Right.
And like, I'm sure there was a bunch of customers that night that spent way more money than we did, but they still went out of their way to give me that phone call. And it stands out so much that I'm here on this webinar with Elite today talking about it.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Right. Now somebody on this webinar might end up at Morton's because I just told that story.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens with your customers as well. Oh, you know what?
It's so powerful. We teach that a lot for car delivery, and how to increase that is that, have your advisors call and tell them, check in. I'd much rather hear that the customer's not happy than have them go to Google and find out they're unhappy. I'd much rather be able to talk to them and have that communication. It's so important.
Exactly.
And it's not that hard to do, right? Especially if you guys can do it automated. I mean, I still believe in having my people do it. I have all of my advisors, they call their people from the previous day. Just because it's that personal touch. The person that sold you all the stuff is calling you. Same thing if send it out through your message platform too. So
massive.
Important.
Hey, that Barney Brothers shop? They called me the next day. They're great. What a great experience.
Yeah.
Those are the conversations that happen behind closed doors that you as a business owner, you might never hear one of those conversations happen, but I promise you they're happening.
Of course they do.
Quick note, Google, I always find this funny.
Right.
Google did not recognize auto repair as an industry 6 months ago. Okay. You could book massage appointments online. You could book dentist appointments online. You could book dinner reservations online. They're all what Google calls industry categories. Google did not recognize auto repair as an industry category until 6 months ago. And so Shopgenie was one of the first people to one of the first companies to get access to this program through Google. They finally recognize us being one of the largest GDP producing industries in the world, automotive. We're finally here. Google recognizes us. We're validated. And And
We're
now,
actually legit.
exactly. Now you can put this big fancy book online button on your Google profile, which is really cool. It's a great way to stand out. You know, you see these other two competitors right here. They don't have it. It's a great way
Yeah,
to stand out against your competition.
that's cool.
Um,
How
okay.
much does it cost to do that? Is that something that you guys do, or how does that work?
Absolutely. Yeah. Shopgenie's, we're one of the providers that can do it. It's 100%
Cool.
free. We actually offer it as a free service. If you guys want to get that Google button, I will actually provide you guys a way to do that here at the end, to
Nice.
get that Google button for free. So,
That's
um,
cool.
so we're going to quickly talk about how to do post-service follow-ups. There's a
Okay.
couple ways. Number one is using a CRM platform like Shopgenie to just do text follow-ups. Super
Yeah.
simple. You turn it on once, set it and forget it. It's automated.
Okay.
Or you could do what Darren does at his shop, which is next day satisfaction calls, right?
Yep.
That's another great way to do it. Just pick up the phone and call people, right? That's talk about the pendulum. People used to do this and then they tried to automate everything. And I think the pendulum's swinging back again. And now the personal touch is becoming even more impactful because people are so used to everything being automated, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, and the third thing is direct mail follow-up, right? You receive a physical piece of mail after you go to a shop. That's a great way to stand out. So talk to your direct mail provider, get a post-service follow-up. It's not going to cost you a ton of money.
Yeah.
You can even do it for only people that spend a certain amount of dollars with you every month. That's a
Yeah.
great way to invest
Cool.
those marketing dollars. One thing that I really want to show you guys, this is something that anybody can do today. You can do this right now. This is a quick video of ChatGPT. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm inside of a shop management system. This happens to be TechMetric. I go to the invoice and I'm basically just copying the entire invoice from TechMetric, from the shop management system, and I'm pasting it into ChatGPT with a prompt that I'll give you guys here at the end. And this prompt, what it does is it basically creates a personalized follow-up email based on all the information from the invoice.
That's
Right?
cool.
So
Wow.
check this out. I'm going to play this video here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going through, I'm copying the invoice, all the line items, everything that the customer paid for with the customer's name and information. So this is a $1,900 repair order. Command C. And then I have this little prompt. You are a service advisor at an auto repair shop who will help do post-service satisfaction follow-ups for customers. Please take into account the model of vehicle as well as the services that were done. This customer follow-up will be sent via text message and should be between 3 and 5 sentences, friendly with the objective of soliciting feedback. Right? That's the prompt. You
Yeah.
pop that into ChatGPT, you paste your invoice, and now watch this. We'll just skip to the end here. Hello, Andrea. It's blank name from auto repair shop name. I hope the vehicle is running smoothly after your recent repairs, including the replacement of your lower control arms and tie rods. We would love your thoughts on the service provided. Your feedback is crucial in helping us maintain high standards. Please feel free to share any comments or suggestions. Thank you for choosing us. We look forward to serving you again. That stands
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
And now
Yes, it does.
what's even cooler is I actually don't think I copied the name of the shop or the name of the advisor that helped them, but that's
Right.
also in the invoices. If I just went up a little bit higher, I could have
Yeah.
copied that, and they could have personalized that. I could add that to the prompt, include the service advisor's name,
Yeah.
and include the name of the shop, right?
That's cool.
So AI is super powerful. This is like just a low hanging fruit. You could train your service advisors to do this in 5
How
minutes.
hard is that?
It's super
You
easy.
know, I mean, it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's just simple to just highlight it and copy and paste it in there. And
You
yeah,
could
that's
train
great.
your service advisors to do this in 5 minutes, or you could have one of your 10-year-old kids at home do this for, pay them 50 cents every time they do it. Like
Right.
there's a million ways. You don't have to have a fancy CRM to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Technology has leveled the playing field.
Yeah.
I'm also going to quickly
Does
show you
Shopgenie
guys.
do that? Is that included in the Shopgenie
We
thing? Or
do,
is that
yes.
that's
So
cool.
Shopgenie, we have something called Jasmine AI. It's an AI
Okay.
service. We call it an AI service advisor. It's trained on auto repair data, and
Okay.
it allows you to do really cool things like that using the
Cool.
AI. Yeah. This is our online scheduling tool. Just want to show you guys how this works quickly. It is free. I'm going to give you guys a way to claim this at the end alongside that Google button. But basically, customers can come on here, and this is ultimately, Darren, this is one of the easiest ways to be easy to do business with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is providing a solution like this. So we integrate with your shop management system. Customer comes, they click the book online button, and then they're here. So this is the diagnostic workflow that I was talking about, where we ask customers what's wrong with their car. So I can either click oil change and it's waiter or drop off, right? I'll pick a drop off time, say I want to come in at 1 p.m. This all real-time availability from your shop management system. This customer wanted a loaner car, right? I'll pop my phone number in. It sends me a code to my phone.
Okay.
And the reason it does this is because it's checking my database. Now it says, welcome back, Kieran. Which vehicle is this for? Shows me the vehicle, upsells me all of my declined services. I can select them. And then, you know what? I didn't finish my booking. I'm actually going to collect that information and send it to you, Darren, as the shop owner, so that I can go find out. I can call that Kieran guy up and say, hey, why didn't you finish your appointment? And he goes, oh, I had to go pick up my kids from soccer practice. I'll finish it later. Right.
That's cool. Okay.
You keep their information. So that's one of the really cool features that we have. And if you guys want that feature and the chat GPT prompt that I just gave you, you guys can scan this QR code and it'll give you all of that as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So
maybe I should like scan that right now so that, you can talk with my shop. So
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Those are a few easy ways to be easy to do business with. And so I hope this was helpful for everybody watching. Darren, do we have any questions or want to do anything to wrap up?
We do.
Okay, awesome.
Yep, there's actually one from Danae Pape, and it says, if you use Google Online, does it automatically schedule the appointment, or does it allow you to confirm the appointment?
Yes, Danae, it does. I don't know if you've been here for the whole webinar, but yes, it automatically books the appointment into your shop management system. Now, this is one of those things that I hear a lot from shops. They want to have that sense of control. They want to be able to accept and deny appointments. The cool thing is, Danae, that is no longer a problem because technology allows you all the reasons that you would want to confirm or deny an appointment. It might be, oh, I've got a tech that called in sick. I've got a lift that's down. I've got too many vehicles in the shop, whatever it is. We know all of that, right? Because we're reading into your shop management system. We know that this tech has no work today. We know that, the skill levels of your technician. We know what vehicles are already in the shop, what open repair orders there are. And so that's why we're able to just book directly onto the calendar, because we're never going to put an appointment on your calendar that doesn't work for your shop. So I hope that makes sense.
So they have that option of denying it then?
No, correct? They don't. You would do that proactively, right?
Okay.
The way that the booking tool works is there should never be a situation where you feel like you have to deny an appointment, right? Because we're never going to show the customer an availability that doesn't work for you in the first place.
Okay.
Right?
But if something happens, let's just say it's a Friday night, worst case scenario, shop slam busy, somebody cancels an appointment on Monday morning, that's, an oil change for an hour. So this customer then goes on there and they schedule that brake job. And so as long as the system is smart enough to catch that a brake job is going to take longer than that, or it's diagnostics again,
Exactly. You've got all your times in there. You've got all your limitations. You can limit how many appointments you want to take per day. You can limit how far in advance. So if you have a 1 or 2 day buffer, then they're not even going to be able to book on Monday. They can't book till Tuesday, right? So all of I like to say we've thought of everything. So again, Danae, we've built pretty much every setting, over 50 different settings in our scheduler, almost any setting that you can dream up, so that you never have to feel like Shopgenie's putting an appointment on your calendar that won't work for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's one that Joe put in here. It says booking a dentist appointment at a restaurant is quite different than auto repair. There are many unknowns and the consumer may not have a clear idea of what's needed. How can an online appointment ease this customer while ensuring that the shop gets the right information to prepare for the vehicle properly?
Absolutely. So Joe, I think the easiest way to answer your question is that things like OpenTable and even like automatic appointment systems for dentist offices, they've been around for 5, 6, 7 years, right? Why hasn't this been a thing in auto repair? I'll tell you why. It's because auto repair is extremely complex. You're absolutely right. Auto repair is much, much harder than a restaurant or than a dentist office. There are so many other factors: parts availability, inventory, technician availability, technician skill level, what cars are already in the shop, work that drags over from the previous day. All of these things are the reason that online scheduling hasn't existed in our industry until very recently. Now, it does exist, right? Companies like Shopgenie now are around, and we can help you with these things because we have gone through and we've talked to thousands of shop owners now. We have over 1,000 shop owners using our system for appointments. And we have basically we've left no stone unturned. We have thought about every edge case, every potential possibility that might create a bottleneck in your shop around scheduling, and we've solved it, I promise. And so that's the reason that it exists now, that it didn't exist, a year ago, is because it took a while for technology to catch up to what was needed for our industry.
That's cool. So how does it look up brakes? Is it integrate, or how does it, so the guy wants to bring it in to do a brake job. How does it know if the brake pads are available?
Right. Right now it doesn't. You would just have a buffer in there. So if you know on average that, your parts guy takes a day or two to deliver things, you could just put a day or two buffer or make brakes, drop off only. That would be kind of the way to do it right now. But we do have some exciting stuff in the works around actual part availability and inventory, which is exciting. So
that's cool. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one from Sarah says, how are advisors trained to integrate the scheduling tools into their interactions with customers?
Absolutely. We do a lot of training internally. Our team, our customer success team at Shopgenie will help you kind of set up everything with best practices. But also, we have shops that kind of go off on their own as well. And they will train their service advisors to ask for a pre-book appointment at the counter and do it through Shopgenie. We have shops that will, put the scheduler on a little card on the front desk and say, book your next appointment online here. And the service advisor is trained to just, hey, point at that and to say, hey, book your appointment. So there's a lot of cool things that our shops have kind of taken into their own hands to do this kind of stuff, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, that's cool. Does that make sense, Sarah? I hope that was a good answer. I think it was good. So, okay. And do you work with shops that only want a more advanced scheduler system, or do you work with all shop programs?
Yeah, we work with shops that have their schedulers wide open, that just take appointments all day, every day. And we work with shops that are specialty shops that only take like 2 appointments a day for really specific services. It can be done for anything. And yeah, we work with all major shop management systems. So Mitchell One, Shopware, TechMetric, Protractor, NapaTrax, Identifix Shop Manager. We have a bunch of integrations, and we're always building more. So
that's cool. Okay, good. That's anybody, you guys have any other questions here? I think that's probably about it.
Awesome.
That's great. Cool.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure, Darren. Thanks for having me. I hope this was helpful, everyone. And yeah, this is really, really exciting stuff. And again, I'm super, super grateful to be a part of the Elite family and get more involved with you guys. So
yeah, man, it's great to have you here. So tell them how they can get a hold of you. Anything else that they need to know to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just Shopgenie. So search Shopgenie on Google, search Shopgenie on Facebook. We're everywhere. We also do have a Facebook group with a ton of Elite members in it. It's called Auto Shop Owners Hangout. It's a free Facebook group. It's highly vetted, so you're not going to get sold to. We don't even try to sell Shopgenie to you. My sales guys aren't even allowed to solicit people. So it's just a safe haven for shop owners to give other shop owners advice. We don't allow promotion. We don't allow anybody to go in there and create disturbances. It's about 8,000 shop owners all just hanging out and having a good time. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's a good group. There's a lot of good content in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's great. Cool. Well, yeah. And, we've got Fly with the Eagles coming up in May 31st through June 1st in Denver, Colorado. It's a shop management course. So if anybody out there is looking to get more shop management or coaching, consulting, service advisor help, whatever it is, we can help you with it. But Fly with Eagles is the next big event. We'd love to have anybody here in the audience that is interested to come out and see us. We'd love to spend some time with you. It's put on by Joe Marconi, and it's a great course. But
yeah, and if you're a Shopgenie customer, or you came to this webinar from me or our Facebook group, Elite is a great group. You guys should check it out. If you need coaching, if you need help running the shop, they're really going to be able to help you out with that. So
thanks, man. Well, Karen, it's been great. I really appreciate you spending time with us today. And I want to thank you and the rest of your team for making this happen, and appreciate all the good advice and help. And And like I said, I'm going to reach out to you too and have my own shop look into this, because I think it's something we can benefit from as well. But thank you guys in the audience too for being here with us. We know your time is valuable. We hope you guys found value in it, and look forward to seeing you next month. So
cool. Talk to you guys later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.